Hey everyone, Matt here from Chaparral Motorsports, and today we're going to do things a little bit different. With the UTV market really booming and getting even more popular, we've been getting asked the question, what is the best UTV helmet out there? So we're going to crack the common misconception of what that is. Let's get right into it. So for those of you that don't already know, the heart and soul of Chaparral is right here in San Bernardino, California, with our 160,000 square foot retail megastore. And we brought in Nathan. He is the helmet specialist that works in the helmet department, and he works directly with the customer every single day, and that's how we're able to get such great feedback. So, like I said, the common misconception of a UTV helmet is that there is no UTV specific helmet in general. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over a few different types of helmets to give you some more knowledge of what works best in the UTV. Also, we're going to go over the benefits of a few different styles to benefit your type of riding that you're doing. So let's get right into it with a 3/4 helmet. All right, so let's take a look at the first style of helmet, and that is the 3/4 helmet. Now, these are generally inexpensive, lightweight, and most importantly, they're DOT approved.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Matt. A lot of customers that come in ask, does my helmet need to be DOT approved? And the short answer to that is yes. So you're definitely going to want to stay away from that football helmet style or maybe even a bicycle when riding.
Right, because in most states, including California, it has to have at least the DOT approval rating for it to be legal.
Right. Now, when it comes to UTV helmets, there's definitely some perks that you want to look out for in the helmet. One of the biggest things that I hear from my customers is that they want a smooth back. Now, that really helps when you're sitting back in your seat against your headrest. You don't have any type of pushing pressure when you're riding. Generally with this, you're going to have a lot less strain on your neck.
And one more thing to look out for with the 3/4 helmet is one that has a lower profile, like this Torque Route 66 helmet. That'll give you a little bit more room to move around in the cab if you do have an aftermarket cage that could be a little bit lower.
Right. So since this is an open face helmet, it's going to be a lot easier to talk to your passengers in your UTV. With that being said, you are going to save some money on the long run by not putting a communication system in this, since your face is not muffled by any type of chin bar.
All right, exactly. Now, that brings us right into the cons of this style of helmet. Because it doesn't have a chin bar, you're a little bit more exposed to the elements, and not to mention impact protection as well. But we'll just jump right back to the elements, because you might want to use a balaclava or a bandana because it'll protect you against some dust, some sand. Also, if the weather is really bad and it's raining or just plain out cold.
Right. I would say this is definitely not going to be for the guy kicking up a lot of dirt or riding with a large amount of people. This is definitely something for an individual who's taking it easy on the road.
Slow speed trail riding.
Yeah, and who doesn't need all of that frontal protection.
Exactly. There's a few other helmets that we want to get to, so let's jump right into our next style, and that would be the off-road or dual sport type helmets.
Yes.
Now, with the dual sport type of helmet or even the off-road style of helmet, I think that these are more common with people that do have UTVs because they probably come from the off-road background to begin with, whether it be dirt bikes or quads. So it's really easy to take that helmet that they're comfortable with and that they know and just jump in the UTV. Now, with that, there are some drawbacks, but there are, of course, the positives as well. So what would you say about that?
Exactly, Matt. Me personally, I come from a motocross background, and I personally run my motocross helmet inside of my UTV with my family. Now, I love my helmet, but there are some drawbacks to this dirt bike style. So one of the most common questions that I get is, what's the biggest difference between a dirt bike style and a dual sport? One of the key differences between the two is that the dual sport's going to have a face shield on it, and the dirt bike is not. Now, since I run a dirt bike style, I do have to wear goggles, and it does become a hassle after a long period of time. Generally, it starts to fog up, or I might get some dirt, dust, or debris up underneath of it that I have to take off my goggle.
So having the face shield would be very convenient to have because you can just slam it down if you come into a situation and then you're totally protected from the elements, whether it's sand or even water.
That's a great point. However, I've had some customer feedback saying you can get a thin coating of dust along the inside, which can kind of be annoying after a while.
It can, but if you weigh the pros and cons, I'm going to be more in favor of the pros because having the face shield there is convenient.
Yes, it is.
So moving right along now, we have a full face street bike helmet here on the table. Do many people come in asking if they can use this in a UTV?
There are quite a bit of people, but I would definitely say this is going to be the last on my list for a couple of reasons. One, you do have an open and closed drop-down visor, but they are small gear mechanisms in the inside. So you're going to get a lot of dust, debris up inside of this, and it will stop its function and get gritty. The next is that you can't run goggles with this. So if you do open it up and this does get scratched over time, you're gonna have to replace it and you can't run goggles.
So it's nice to have that option if you wanted to run goggles to get a little bit more air flowing through your face, but having that eye protection is key, I think.
Right. Other than that, it is gonna have the smooth backing to it so you can run it and it's not gonna be bothersome. And as well, it is gonna give you full frontal protection.
Another thing to take into consideration with a full face street helmet is that unless it's a super expensive lightweight race helmet, these are going to be a little bit more heavy than an off-road helmet or even some of those dual sport type of helmets. And some are going to be a little bit more bulbous as well.
Right, and with a helmet like this, you're going to lose a lot of peripheral view with this type of helmet. But you do have the ability to replace the visor with most style of helmets.
If it does get scratched.
If it does get scratched or damaged.
Right. So as you can see, this is kind of leaning towards our last recommendation. Yes, it can work and you can use it in a UTV, but there are many different styles of helmets that work much better. That being said, let's get into our top pick, and that is the Scorpion 18950. Let's check it out. Now this is our last and final helmet. This is the Scorpion 18950, and being this as our #1 choice was kind of a no-brainer because of how versatile it is. And when Scorpion designed it, I really don't think that they thought it was going to take off so hard in the UTV industry.
Right. One of the coolest features about this helmet is the fact that it is modular, and especially for a dual sport, that's really a key feature when riding in a UTV.
Right.
As well as that you do have the drop-down external visor, but you can run goggles. And if you're getting a little too much drag on this top visor, it is removable.
Right, and you can also utilize the drop-down sun visor, and that really comes in handy for on-the-fly use as well.
Right. So I would say this is going to be overall one of the best helmets for any type of riding style. You can go fast with it and block all the dust and debris with the features, or you can kind of take some of those features back and cruise around with it.
Right, and you kind of morph it into all of the helmets that we've shown you here today.
Exactly.
So there it is. Those are just a few helmets that we had for you that work best in a UTV. Now remember, there isn't a specific UTV helmet, simply what works best and what works best with the type of riding that you'll be doing. Now if you'd like more information on any of the helmets that you've seen here today, you can visit us at shapmoto.com. Also remember that we have tons of options to choose from as well as great deals all the time. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Yeah,
I'm Matt. Nathan, thank you
How's
so
it
much
going,
for coming in
guys?
today. We will see you next time.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh yeah.